My neighbor accused my husband of stealing packages. The police showed up at our door. Turned out nothing was missing. No apology. Just, better safe than sorry. So I made them unsafe, but only with truth. A truth I pulled from their own security footage. We moved to Worthington, Ohio last fall. It was supposed to be a fresh start. We had just gone through a tough year, my dad passed, I lost my job, and Ray's hours got cut. So when he got the HVAC job in Columbus with steady pay, we packed up and found a small 2-bedroom on a quiet street. Just the two of us and our dog, Molly. Our new neighborhood was nice enough. Clean lawns. Retired couples. Everyone nodded politely, but no one really talked. Except the couple 3 doors down. The Danners. I noticed them the first week. The husband, Greg, watered the grass every morning like clockwork. Always in a golf polo, khakis, loafers. Like he was going somewhere, but he never did. His wife, Helen, was more intense. She'd sweep their porch even when there wasn't anything on it. One day she watched me walk Molly down the block, didn't say a word. Just stared. They had cameras everywhere. One on the garage, one on the porch, one in the tree facing the street. Ring signs all over the place. It was like they were guarding a bank, not a house. Ray didn't notice them much. He was busy. Gone early, home late, covered in dirt and sweat, just trying to get us back on our feet. I'm the one who saw everything. I had time. Still hadn't found a job. I'd sit on our front step with Molly, drink coffee, and watch the neighborhood wake up. 3 weeks after we moved in, the police knocked on our door. It was just before 7 p.m. I was setting the table, meatloaf in the oven. Molly started barking like crazy. I looked out the front window and saw a cruiser out front. 2 officers. Male and female. Serious faces. The female officer did the talking. We got a report that your husband might have been involved in suspicious activity regarding some missing packages, she said. I blinked. What? Your neighbor has surveillance. They said they saw him near their porch. Ray was still in his work clothes, dirty boots, sweat-stained shirt. He looked like he'd just been accused of robbing a bank, not walking home. He said, I walked by. That's all. I don't even talk to those people. They asked to look around. Said they needed to make sure no packages were taken. I wanted to tell them no. I wanted to yell. But I just nodded. What else could I do? They searched our porch. Our side yard. Even peeked inside the garage. Of course they found nothing. No boxes. No mail. Not even a plastic bag. After 20 minutes, they left. No apology. Just, better safe than sorry. Ray didn't say much. He sat down, took off his boots, and stared at the floor. I was furious. The next morning, I walked Molly past the Danners' house. Helen was out front trimming her roses like nothing happened. She looked up and said, Hope you understand. Just trying to keep the neighborhood safe. She didn't look sorry. She looked satisfied. I didn't say anything. Just kept walking. That afternoon, they installed another camera. This one was aimed at the sidewalk. At our side of the street. That's when I stopped trying to let it go. I started watching them back. I bought a used baby monitor off Facebook Marketplace. Long range. Audio only. I tucked the transmitter into one of those decorative rocks people put in their garden beds. Placed it in the corner of their hedge. If anyone asked, I was just adding a rock to our side of the shared property line. For 2 nights, nothing. But on the 3rd night, around 11:30, I heard something. Voices. Helen. If you move the boxes early, no one will notice. Male voice, you sure this is the address? Helen, of course. They're gone till Friday. Rustling. A car door. Then quiet. My stomach dropped. I played it back 3 times to make sure I wasn't hearing things. I didn't know exactly what they were doing, but it wasn't normal. They weren't just watching the neighborhood. They were doing something. Something shady. That's when I remembered, you can request Ring footage from other users. I made a burner account with a fake email and sent a request for footage to their house. Said my dog had gotten loose and I was looking to track her last movements. They approved it. And what I saw made my hands shake. Helen. In broad daylight. Walking up to a porch 2 blocks over, picking up a medium-sized Amazon box, tucking it under her coat, and walking back to her car. Fast. Like she'd done it before. The footage was timestamped. The day before she called the cops on Ray. That's when it hit me, she'd done it and blamed him. I saved the video. Burned it to a USB. Printed a short note, watch your cameras. Some people are watching back. I walked the neighborhood that night, around 2 a.m. Quiet. Just me and Molly. Dropped a copy in the mailbox of every house on our street. 10 total. No return address. Next morning, nothing looked different. But by that weekend, 3 neighbors had taken down their Ring doorbells. The Danners' front yard camera was gone. 2 houses over, the Carlsons, who used to chat with Helen all the time, suddenly stopped waving to her. I wasn't done. But I'll stop here for now. About a week later, things felt different on our block. I could feel it in the silence. The Danners' yard, once picture perfect, started looking neglected. The porch light stayed off. Greg stopped doing his daily lawn routine. Helen still walked out to get the mail, but fast, like she didn't want to be seen. No more eye contact. No more smug smiles. Then one afternoon, I got a knock on the door. It was Mr. Carney from across the street. Retired teacher. Quiet guy. Always wore suspenders. He said, "Mind if I ask you something?" I nodded. He looked around first, like he was checking if anyone was watching. Then he stepped a little closer and lowered his voice. "Did you drop those USBs off?" I paused. "Why?" He said, "I saw that footage. I filed a report." "That porch Helen stole from?" "That's my daughter's house." I didn't know what to say. She lives 2 streets over. She thought it was lost in the mail. That was a birthday gift for her kid. He looked sick to his stomach. And I vouched for those people. I told her it was probably just a delay. He shook his head. "You did the right thing. Just, be careful. People like that, they don't go down easy." He left without another word. The next day, I noticed the fake rock I hid the baby monitor in, it was gone. Not moved. Gone. Someone had been in their bushes. They must have found it. I checked the receiver. Dead. Nothing but static. That night, Ray came home late from a job. I was half asleep when I heard him come in. He sat on the edge of the bed, pulled off his boots real slow. Then he said something that woke me right up. "Helen came by my job today." I sat up. "What?" "She parked out front. Just sat there. I didn't go out. My boss asked if I knew her. I said no. We stared at each other in the dark. I said, "She knows." He nodded. "I don't think she's gonna let this go." 2 days later, we got a letter in the mail. No stamp. No return address. Just our names on the front in shaky handwriting. Inside was a printout. It was a screenshot, from our own front porch camera. Ray standing there. Taken the night the police showed up. Underneath, someone had typed, "If you want to play games, we can play too." No name. No signature. Just that. Ray wanted to go to the cops. I told him we couldn't. Not yet. They didn't believe us last time. Why would they now? I started keeping notes. Times. Faces. License plates. I built a little folder. Labeled it just in case. I knew I had to do something more. I needed a way to end this, not just protect us, but make sure the Danners never pulled this on anyone again. And then I found it. I was going through old footage from our own porch cam. Just checking, out of habit now. I started keeping a log of everyone who walked past our house, what time, which direction. It felt obsessive, but I needed to stay ahead. That's when I noticed something strange. 2 weeks before the cops came, Helen had walked past our house in the middle of the night, 2:17 a.m. Alone. No car, no dog, just her, wearing dark clothes. She stopped at our mailbox, stood there for maybe 15 seconds, then walked off. That footage had a weird glitch, just a quick flicker, like a frame skipped. I hadn't seen it before. I rewound it 5 times. The next night, same thing. 2:20 a.m. Helen again. This time she turned and looked directly at the camera. Her face was calm. Too calm. Then she smiled. Just for a second. Like she knew I'd find it eventually. She'd been watching us longer than we realized. I started wondering, what if the stolen packages weren't just some side hustle? What if this was a game for her? I dug deeper. I logged into the burner email I'd used to request her ring footage. When I checked the inbox, there were 2 unread messages. Both from random addresses. Both empty. Just subject lines, "You don't know who you're messing with. Stay in your lane." I stared at the screen for a long time. These weren't just warnings. They were taunts. Ray didn't like it. He begged me to drop it. Said it wasn't worth it. But I couldn't. Not after everything. So I changed tactics. Instead of spying, I started talking. Quietly. Carefully. I went door to door under the pretense of starting a neighborhood watch. Said we wanted to help keep an eye out after that incident with the packages. Most people nodded politely. But a few people got real quiet when I brought up Helen and Greg. One woman, Donna, who lived at the corner, closed her door, then reopened it and stepped outside. "They tried this before," she said. "Different couple. Lived where you live now." I blinked. "What happened?" "They moved. Fast. Never said goodbye. We all thought it was weird." I asked if she ever saw anything. Donna hesitated, then nodded. "They accused the old guy of stealing mail. Police came. Same thing. No proof. No apology." She looked me dead in the eye. "They ruin people, those two. They pick a target, stir up trouble, then act like they're cleaning up the mess." That was it. That's what I needed. A pattern. A history. Now I just had to prove it. A week after talking to Donna, I started building a timeline. I went to the county records office, pretended I was looking for info about home improvements. What I really wanted was old police activity on our block. It took 2 hours and a grumpy clerk, but I found it: 3 service calls to our address in the last 5 years. 1 domestic noise complaint, 1 animal control report, and 1 theft accusation. 2 years ago. Almost identical to what they did to Ray. Different names, same setup. Neighbors complained, said the guy was seen near mailboxes. Police followed up, found nothing. No charges. But the couple left 3 weeks later. No forwarding info. So I dug up their names and searched them on Facebook. Found the wife. Her page was quiet, but in one photo, someone commented, "Hope the new neighborhood treats you better than the last one." That's when I knew I wasn't their first target. Probably not their last either. They weren't just paranoid. They were calculated. I started copying everything: emails, video files, notes, onto a cloud drive. I didn't tell Ray. I knew it stressed him out too much. But I needed a backup in case something happened. Then something did. I came home from the grocery store, and our front door was cracked open. I froze. Called Ray. Called the police. They cleared the house. Nothing taken. Nothing broken. But our bedroom closet? The box where I kept the USBs and printed files? Empty. Ray said maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe we forgot to lock the door. But I knew. They were sending a message. That night, I logged into the cloud drive from my laptop, just to check. It was gone. All of it. Deleted. Someone had gotten my password. Now it was personal. I didn't tell Ray right away. I couldn't. He'd been looking over his shoulder every time he pulled into the driveway. I didn't want to make it worse. Instead, I stayed up late and made a new copy of everything from scratch. I had backups on a separate flash drive now, one I kept in my purse. The rest I emailed to myself under a different account. One I didn't use for anything else. I also changed every password. Twice. And then I waited. I didn't have to wait long. 3 days later, a white envelope showed up in our mailbox. No stamp again. Inside was a single sheet of printer paper. On it, just 5 words, "You're in over your head." That night, I called Donna. Told her everything. She didn't even sound surprised. "I think it's time we stop pretending this is a neighbor problem," she said. "This is harassment. This is calculated." She offered to come with me to speak to a lawyer. Said she'd write a statement. Said she'd seen Helen and Greg doing weird things more than once but never thought it connected. That gave me an idea. I posted a note on the community Facebook group, under my real name. Said I was collecting information on suspicious neighborhood behavior for a potential legal matter. I kept it vague. No names. No threats. Just, if you've had any experience with package theft, false accusations, or harassment from neighbors, please message me privately. By the end of the day, I had 6 messages. One woman said Helen accused her son of breaking a solar light. He was 5. Another said her car tires had been slashed a week after an argument with Greg about parking spots. Someone else sent me a photo. Helen standing at the edge of their driveway with a phone out, filming their children while they played. This wasn't about us anymore. It never was. I never got an apology. Not from the police. Not from Helen. Not from anyone who believed her first and doubted us second. But sometimes I think the real punishment isn't getting caught. It's being seen for what you are. And now, when she walks down the street, no one waves. No one smiles. And she doesn't look at me anymore. Not because she's scared, but because she knows I saw her without the cameras.